Hi, everyone. Welcome again to Enjoy English School. I'm Bruce.
I'm Antony.
Today, the last day of the month, we have our cloze test for you. We have an article with 5 words or phrases that are missing. We do this every month, and you do it in school as well, in your textbooks. So you're familiar with the game that we play with language. So, let's get started.Yeah,
我们今天要讲的主题呢，就是滤镜掰掰。好，在这里的话呢，英文的这个标题就叫做 No more filter photos。Filter photos 这个地方我们讲一下 ，filter 它本身意思是滤镜，加 ed 之后会变成形容词，被滤镜处理过的照片。有时候你会听到 airbrushed photos 或者是 retouch photos。事实上，在去年11月的这个大考里头，在这个模拟考试里头，他们有一篇这个文艺选填就有用到 airbrushing 这个文章。我们赶快来看看今天这个内容吧。
No more filtered photos. Social media is filled with millions of filtered photos. Almost everyone seems to use photo editing software to make themselves look younger, thinner, and more attractive. The goal? To meet impossible standards of beauty that keep getting harder to realize. There's one country that is fighting back against this practice, Norway.In Norway, it is now illegal to post a filtered photo without labeling it as such. This applies to advertisers who post photos of models whose images have been adjusted. It also targets celebrities and influencers who use programs that erase wrinkles or other so-called imperfections. The punishment for people who violate the law runs from a fine all the way up to jail for repeat offenders.One thing that remains unclear about the law has to do with photo techniques. For example, photographers often get creative with lighting to lighten or darken a model's skin tone. But is this harmful to the public? In any case, the influencer community in Norway seems to be on board. Many have shown support for the law, saying that the act of promoting perfect bodies needs to stop.Could this be a part of a worldwide trend towards increased honesty on social media? Only time will tell.
Okay, let's begin at the beginning. Social media is filled with millions of filtered photos. Well, you just heard that filtered is also retouched, airbrushed.These are not the original. They are altered. They're changed to make someone usually look better, or sometimes a place, or sometimes a product. And we can find these on social media. On your smartphones, you probably see these sorts of retouched photos every day.
没错，所以在这个地方呢，我们看到了第一句话 Social media is filled with millions of filtered photos. 在这边的话，我们刚刚有提过 filtered 就是有滤镜处理过的，刚刚我们也提到了 airbrushed 跟 retouched 好，这两个词都可以来表达好被滤镜处理过这样的概念。老师刚刚还提到另外一个重要的字汇叫做 alter 的拼法是 alter which means change 好，这意思就是指改变的意思，所以你可以说这个 photos are altered 好，是被改过的这样的表达方式。所以在第一句话里面看到说，在我们这个社群媒体上面充满着好 millions of 数百万张这种被滤镜处理过的这种照片，修图过的照片。
Okay, let's continue. Almost everyone seems to use photo editing software to make themselves look younger, thinner, and more attractive. Attractive means good looking when we're talking about people. Photo editing is changing also, altering, and sometimes it means correcting. Software, you better take over.
对，做软体。老师在这边的话，通常会提到说，在这边如果是像是 photo editing software， 就是专门去编辑 软体，编辑这种照片的软体。但如果说今天你提到说这个东西被编辑过了，好，那你会用 edited。好，老师刚刚也提到另外一个 edit， 有可能是修改 to correct， 去修正某样东西，也就是编辑的意思。所以第二句话呢，他说 almost everyone seems to use photo editing software， 几乎所有人都会用到这种那种照片编辑软体呢 to make themselves look younger, thinner, and more attractive， 让他们看起来瘦瘦的，更年轻，或者是呢看起来更有吸引力。
Okay, the next phrase is not a sentence. The goal means why do people use photo editing software? What is their purpose or goal? The goal.
OK， 接下来他就问你说 The goal 那目的是什么嘞？好 ，The goal 就是指目标的意思嘛。他们干嘛要这么做啊？
And we find out in the next sentence, which is the last sentence of our first paragraph. To blank impossible standards of beauty that keep getting harder to realize. The last sentence tells us why so many people are using this editing software. Well, now the chances are we need a verb form here, the base form of a verb. We have A, B, C, D, of course, face, meet, pose, or break. To face, to meet, to pose, to break. Impossible standards of beauty. What are we going to do about that? Well, to face them doesn't make much sense. To meet them, now that's possible. That means that is your goal. To meet a deadline, for example, is to make it on time or to finish your work on time. That looks pretty good. To pose standards of beauty, and to break them, definitely not. So if you have standards for being good looking, you don't want to break them. You want to follow them or copy them. So choose B, meet. To meet impossible standards of beauty that keep getting harder to realize. Harder to realize means harder to meet. You cannot reach this kind of goal because it's becoming more and more difficult to do.
OK， 所以这个地方要考的是搭配词，所以我们看到这里面最重要的字就是 standards。如果说今天提到达到标准的话，你可以使用 meet the standards of something， 或者你可以用 live up to， 好，也可以 live up to 是3个字一个片语，就是达到某个标准。那在这边的话，我们有 meet。B 这个选项我们就必须要选。那整句话意思就是说，为了达到这个不可能达到的这种美的标准，而且这个标准呢还不只是一次固定的哦，而且它怎么样 ？That 这个 that 指的是 standards。Keep getting harder to realize， 好，越来越难达到的。那在这种情况下，我们选的答案是 B 这个选项。
Okay, let's move on now to our second paragraph. There's one country that is fighting back against this practice. Norway. So that is the one country that is fighting back, means to oppose. O-P-P-O-S-E. O-P-P-O-S-E. You can probably guess it from fight and back. Somebody does something to you and you fight back.
OK， 我们来看这一句话，他说 There's one country that is fighting back against this practice。 老师刚刚提到了另外一个动词叫 oppose。oppose 这个字要特别注意一下，当动词使用的时候，后面直接接东西就好了。I oppose this practice. I oppose this policy。那有的时候你会看到另外一种用法是搭配 be 动词的，这时候你会说 be opposed。好，后面要加一个 d。然后再加 to something，这两个东西千万不要把它搞混。如果单纯用 oppose 这个动词的时候，后面是直接接这个受词的，好 oppose something。所以在这句话说，有一个国家呢，它正反对着，正在努力打击，好反对着 fighting back against this practice， 反对这种做法。
In Norway, it is now blank to post a filtered photo without labeling it as such. So if Norway is opposing or fighting back against something, it is now blank to post a filtered photo. Is it illegal, ideal, identical, or influential? A is our best choice here because if something is made illegal, you definitely cannot do it. That is really opposing something. Ideal would be perfect. Identical means the same. And influential means that it has some authority over you, or it impresses you and you want to do it or follow it. So illegal is the best choice. In Norway, it is now illegal, against the law, to post a filtered photo without labeling it as such. I don't know how that's done, but it probably has to have a notice on it. So when you look at it on your computer, it says, this photo has been retouched, this photo has been altered, something like that. A label tells us what something is or has.
没有错。其实事实上呢，我相信现在很多的政府他们开始有这种打击这种变脸啦，或者像之前我们可能提过一些那种变脸的那种技术，对不对 ？AI 的这种技术，所以它可以去侦测说这个东西有没有被变造过。Yeah. Like a face swap app, right? I can change face with you, and we use that photo. Yeah, we do have that, something like that. OK, 所以在这边这个地方呢，他就说了，在这个国家是挪威，而在挪威现在呢 ，it is now illegal. Illegal 就是犯法的，是不合法的，去做后面这件事情是不合法的哦。什么事呢 ？To pose 去张贴 a filter photo without labeling it as such. 如果你张贴了一个变造过的，或者是有修图过的东西，没有特别去注明的话，这样是犯法的。
This applies. The new law in Norway applies to advertisers who post photos of models' blank images have been adjusted. So advertisers always want to show the best so that you will buy something. And what about these advertisers? They post photos, they put photos on social media of models, people who are hired to show themselves or other products, but their images have been adjusted or changed or altered. We have a lot of verbs now with that meaning. Okay, so what do we put in blank number 3? Photos of models. Now we need a grammar thinking here. The advertisers post photos of models, blank images, their images. Now, would we use that images, which images, whom images, or whose images? Well, I said their, T-H-E-I-R, which will have this meaning, and the only pronoun here that has that is D, whose. This is the dog whose owner lives next door to us. When you're referring to a person and possession, use whose.
没有错，在这个地方我们需要一个有所有格的这种感觉的哦，就像老师刚刚提到说，他这边提到说post photos of models.And the models' images. 你要知道their images. 你要知道还有一个所有格，所以在这里面1、2、3、4这 A、B、C、D 这4个选项，只有 D whose 它是有所有格这种感觉的，所以整句话意思就是好，他就说这个呢，这个法案这项法令 this applies to 也适用于广告商，然后呢，这些广告商怎么做呢？Who post photos of models? 他们会把一些模特儿的这个照片放上去，然后这些模特儿的这些照片呢 ，images have been adjusted. Adjusted 的意思就是指去修改过、调整过的。好，所以在这里的话，除了我们刚刚学到的 alter, airbrushed, retouched, 好 adjusted 都可以使用在这个地方。
It also targets celebrities. It refers to this law, Norway's new law. Targets is.Why is this law being made, and to whom does it apply? That will be the target of this law. Celebrities, famous people, and influencers. Celebrities are one kind of influencer. A politician would be, a famous rich person, and so on. They influence public opinion. Who use programs, software programs, that erase, that means to get rid of, Wrinkles. You want to see some wrinkles? That's when your skin is folded because of age or too much water or some other reasons or other so-called imperfections. They want you to think that if you have wrinkles, there's something wrong with you. You're not perfect.
所以在这边的话呢，你看他说 it 指的是这个法令，对不对？老师刚刚讲过。然后 target 这个地方居然当动词哦。我相信各位应该知道 target 当名词使用指的是目标。那如果说今天某个法令 targets a group of people， 那就是针对那群人，把那群人当作目标，这样就好理解了，对不对？ It also targets celebrities， 好，它的目标呢也针对了什么？针对这些名人。And influencers， 好 ，influencers 多半是在网络上社群里头的一些那种具有影响力的网红啊等等 ，who use programs that erase wrinkles， 好，他们会用这些软体去把这些皱纹消除掉 ，or other so-called imperfections， 或其他一些不完美的地方都把它盖掉，这样。
The punishment for people who violate the law.This is the Norwegian law, the law from Norway. If you violate a law, you break the law. You go against the law. What's the punishment? Well, it runs from, this is a from to situation, a fine, and a fine is not fine. A fine means you have to pay money because you did something wrong, all the way up to, from to, jail. For repeat offenders, people who do it again and again, even though they have been warned with a fine.
没错，所以这整句话呢，你要先把几个重要字词画起来，一个是 runs from 跟 to 这几个字圈起来之后，你再去看整句话结构就清楚了。他说 ，the punishment for people who violate the law， 对于那些犯了这个法令的人，惩罚是什么呢？Runs from a fine， 老师刚刚提到 a fine is not fine， 因为在这边的话我笑了一下，是因为 a fine 是罚金 is not fine， 有拿到罚金一点都不好，对不对？被人家就是给人家一张罚单，很糟糕，对不对？ All the way up to jail， 所以你有可能是被罚或甚至是坐牢。好 ，for repeat offenders，repeat offender 就是累犯者，屡劝不听的话，最后就把你抓进去关。
Okay, let's take a short break before we finish.Okay, let's look at our final paragraph. One thing that remains unclear, uncertain, hard to understand about the law concerning the new law in Norway has to do with photo techniques. And we talked earlier about retouching and editing and so on. Those are kinds of photo techniques. Techniques are skills on how to do something.OK，
在这地方我们来看第一句话 One thing that remains unclear about the law has to do with 所以在这里的话前面这个最开头的这个地方 That remains unclear about the law 你把它当成形容词子句先框起来 That remains unclear about the law 有一件事情好依然悬而未决还不是很清楚的关于这个法令还不够清楚的部分是什么 has to do with 跟什么有关系如果你说 have to do something with 就是与什么有关在这边的话主词因为是 one thing 所以是 has to do with photo technique 好 photo techniques 指的意思就是照相的技术这个部分还没有定义的非常清楚
Okay, our next sentence begins with our fourth close item.And we'll come back to that. Let's see what the rest of the sentence says, because the first two sentences are going to have a special relationship. Photographers often get creative with lighting to lighten or darken a model's skin tone. This is one of the techniques they can use when they retouch a photograph. They can change the color of your skin, maybe from sickly white to beach tan. So what is the problem that we mentioned in the first sentence? And in the second sentence, we have an example of that. Would we bring these two ideas together with A, by contrast, B, however, C, for example, or D, therefore?The best answer clearly is C, for example. Changing the skin tone is an example of a photo technique.
Yeah， 没有错，在这个地方呢，它就很清楚的，我们要去看到前面这句话，第一句我们刚刚讲的，跟后面这句话之间的关系，来决定中间这个 transition 转折词是什么。那在后面的话，你可以看到说 ，photographers often get creative with， 好，就是在这个地方发挥创意。什么地方呢 ？With lighting to lighten or darken a model's skin tone。skin tone 指的就是我们皮肤的那个肤色，所以老师刚刚提到 sickly white， 就是那种病恹恹的白色，变成那种被海滩晒过那种健康的古铜色，对不对？好，那个 beach tan， 好，在这里的话，它就是讲到肤色的这种改变 skin tone， 所以我们可以知道说这句话跟上去的关系是举例，所以答案选 C。For example，
But is this harmful to the public? This is the thing that remains unclear, and in the law, they will have to be clear before they can say, okay, you broke this law, and someone says, what law? It's not clear at all.
没错，他说这个地方 is this harmful to the public？ 好，这到底对大众有没有造成危害？今天我只是把它改变一下这个肤色，我就犯了法，请问我得罪谁了？他可能就问到这样的一个问题。
In any case, the influencer community in Norway seems to be on board. Even though this is against them, they have come to agree with the idea of this law. They support it.
没错，所以在这里的话呢，他就说 in any case， 总之呢 ，the influencer community， 好，这些这种网红的社群呢，在挪威哦，网红社群，即便这个法令对他们可能来讲，会造成一些不太方便的地方，对不对？但是他们居然怎么样 ？seems to be on board， 都愿意参与，愿意支持。
Many of these influencers have shown support for the law. Number 5, we have to choose a grammar. To say, saying, say, or said, that the act of promoting perfect bodies needs to stop. So they agree. They have shown support for the law, not to say, but saying. This is an adjective usage. It's not the verb for say, said, and it's not the infinitive to say.
所以这个地方需要的文法基本上就是直接用这个 VING 的方式表达哦。他就说 Many have shown support for the law， 它指的是这个 many 指的是 people， maybe in celebrity， 应该这边指的是 influencer community。好，在这边的话，他就是愿意去支持这项法案。说他们也说 saying that 其实就是 and they say that 的这个简称哦。The act of promoting perfect bodies needs to stop。好，不断去提倡身材要完美，然后又没有皱纹啊什么，这样子这种提倡的应该要停止了。
Could this be a part of a worldwide trend towards increased honesty on social media? Is the new Norwegian law going to be an example for other countries in the future? Only time will tell. We don't know, but from the article, we hope so.
没错，所以最后一句话就告诉你说 Could this be a part of the worldwide trend towards increased honesty on social media? 在这个社群媒体上，大家越来越诚实的去显露自己真正的样貌，会不会变成一个未来的趋势呢？Only time will tell. 这个我们只能等时间来证明了。
Okay, that's it for the article. We'll be back in a moment with a review. Okay, our review has just 4 items. The first one, take a stand against, oppose.
Oppose 就是表明立场去反对 ，take a stand 本来就是表态，好，对于什么事情表态 ，against 就代表表明反对后面这件事情。
Labeling, to label is to describe, so describing.
所以在这里 label 的话就是指标明、说明清楚的意思。
Our third item is violate the law, break the law.
没错 ，violate the law 就是违反。好，你也可以用 break the law 来表达。
If you are on board, you agree with someone, usually to do something.
If you are on board, be on board 就是代表你同意甚至支持某人做某件事情。
Right. That's it for today's lesson. Hope you enjoyed us this month. We had a lot of fun here, and we hope you learned something as well. Until the next time,
bye-bye.